You are listening to the ReRACEables Podcast.
Welcome in, Jocelyn and Victor. Super excited to have you both. Thank you both for being here tonight.
Thanks for having us. That's awesome.
I have to start. I think you know. We at the ReRACEables Podcast, we put together power rankings based on very little, right? It's just the little bits and drips and drabs that CBS and whatever you can kind of see out there. And we make our judgments based on, again, very little. But I had a very special team at number one.
I know. I saw your rankings. I was like, oh man, we disappointed you.
Well,
we could go all the way.
It was like the most unbelievable roller coaster in these episodes here. You had the highest of highs, and I was walking tall, let me tell you. And then, well, we know what happened. We won't go there, but we will get there. But let's start with our first clue. So let's start with our first clue here. Somebody just
okay. Very official.
Let me just open that up for you. And
that looks so legit.
Thank you. So you go through this process together before the race, before casting, during casting, filming, being away from home, being away from your kids, watching it back, everything in between. How does this impact your relationship? I'd love to start there.
I'll let Jocelyn answer that.
I think going into this, our relationship was, like Victor said, it's very sort of work relationship for the past 20 years. And it's just kind of sort of personal relationship wise, it has sort of really deteriorated prior to coming onto the show. And then as we're applying, we're going through the phases, it just kind of brought us back to sort of how we felt for each other from the very beginning, which is not something that I had anticipated. And I wasn't sort of really expecting that. And then this whole process has been a great experience for us, and to kind of reflect, how are we as a couple? Can we do this? And so, there are definitely little hiccups along the way. And then, so I told one of the other interviewers, we're like, this is sort of our marriage counseling. And then we unfortunately, we didn't get to the end. So
that would have been like the ultimate, right? So you go through all of it and you win $1 million.
And then we're like, we're successful. But so we're still going through the phases and trying to work through some of the differences and stuff like that. So
how do you build on the experience going forward in the relationship, right? I'm married. My wife and I have bonded through watching The Amazing Race. And we've built on it by doing this podcast and sucking my friend Josh into it, and we've kind of built on it that way. So I love what you're saying. It's amazing that you've rekindled this, this whole new phase of everything for the both of you. So how do you build on it? How do you keep that momentum going, I guess?
I think that's a great question, because, right after we finished filming and everything, we thought, okay, there's all this momentum. We're just gonna spend so much time together and do all the stuff, and then life hits you, right? And and work. It's like, oh crap, we had done so much preparation at work just to be able to go and to be gone for that long, and nobody knew what we were doing. And so that was kind of fun trying to keep that secret. But coming back, it's like, oh, okay, now we have all this work responsibility. And unfortunately that's kind of like pulling us back to where we were before the race, right? And so now it's something that we've been talking about every day. It's like, where do we go from here? How do we move forward and build on that? Because we can't go back to where we were before the race. We definitely can't. And that's such a horrible experience, as a married couple, as husband and wife, to not be able to appreciate each other for anything except like, hey, why aren't you stocking the shelves? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And so that's that's
So
something that
we
we're
still
still
do the
we're
hard thing.
working on that whole part. Yeah.
So there's still the little lag where I'm doing this and he's like, wait, where
I gotta blow the kiss first before you can catch it, right? So yeah.
So I think this is the takeaway for us is when we're about to go into that battle mode where we're about to fight and argue with each other, we're trying to do wait, blow me a kiss, I'll try to catch it and
Well,
kind of reflect.
going on to the show, we knew that we had to rein it in. We didn't want to be that ugly married couple. We've been married for a long time, right? And you don't want to be at each other's throats the whole time. So what are we gonna do? Well, Jocelyn came up with this awesome idea. It's like when you get down or you're having, the highest of highs, let's celebrate it with that little blow kiss. And so there were times when I tried to blow her a kiss, like, I'm not having it. Don't even look at me, And yeah. And you can kind of see a little bit of that when we were doing the rice paper, how any married couple, they're going to say, well, let me do it. You're not doing it right, And so we're trying to be cordial to each other, but at the same time, it's like we literally felt the heat because that stove that they had, they were burning like hot rice husks or something, just to be able to steam all that water. And so it was so much sweat. I don't think I've ever sweated that much in my life.
How has the race impacted? It sounds like I think you got a little bit of that, but like, how else has it impacted your working relationship?
I think how we got the $1 million, then yeah, for sure it'll be like hugs every day.
We'd probably be retired early now if we had won, right?
So we finished the marriage counseling session, and we would have be really lovey-dovey.
Yeah, it's like we went through a few of the we met the marriage counselor, we had a few talks, but then decided, we're done, we're not coming back to see you anymore. So we might have try to find a way to kind of have time. We've been wanting to get time together for for so long, and to have had the opportunity with the Amazing Race was awesome because you can't have your phone, nobody can contact you. That was like the best thing, and like we're dying to find that again. To even get away for like 2 days. It's been really tough, but what can you do?
And so I'm wondering, you have me wondering, like, if you couldn't tell people and you have this store, right? Like, how do you tell your kids? How do you run a store when you're the blood, sweat, and tears of the store?
Well, our kids knew. Yeah, our kids knew because they all had to sign the waivers, and and my sister knew, but everybody else, we had to make up stories, and most people, it was just very vague. But our store management, I think I told our manager that, hey, we're gonna be on this one cooking show where they want to travel around the world. We don't know where we're going. We don't know what we're going to be doing, but they want us to be in the moment. So they don't really want us to take our phones. That's how we got away with it. But then.
Yeah, but I was telling people we're going on safari, so we can't have our phone while we're hanging out with zebras and so.
But honestly, people thought that we had become like spies for for the US and China or something, and there's all this espionage going on, and so nobody can get a hold of us. It was crazy.
I think the espionage is probably 50% of it, but not very many people bought the idea of safari. But I'm like, oh yeah, totally safari, elephants and lions and.
That's really funny. So your kids were able to keep the secret then?
Well, we didn't tell them. We didn't tell them anything. We just told them, if you want to find out, you got to watch the show. And they were so mad. Even her mom was, because they had to. My in-laws had to take care of the kids while we were gone, and so
that was my next question.
So then I guess they get a text that we're coming home, and everybody's just wondering what the heck's going on. But we didn't tell them anything, and it's just like, you can't even tell me like how many legs you competed on or what. It's like, no, you got to watch a show. So that's the only way we could keep the secret. Otherwise, it's so hard because the two of us, we were talking about it pretty much every day, but you can't tell.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
What else can you tell?
Right. That's so bizarre. It's like it's against every instinct, and how season after season after season, every team just keeps it under wraps, especially in social media era. Like, how is that even possible? It seems
Well, it was easy for us because we're not on social media. Oh, we weren't until the Amazing Race,
yes.
right? So once the Amazing Race, you get in, I think on prior seasons, people were saying, well, I saw so and so follow so and so, so that means that they're out. But we didn't do anything until after the finale got filmed. So nobody knew anything about us, which I thought was pretty cool. And then so we decided, hey, let's just kind of troll some of these people online, because usually it's just like the top 3, right, that do that. That do their recaps, and we'll just do our own just to mess with people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those lunatics, like trying to read the code and crack the code of it all, but I've failed pretty much every time.
No, but I thank you for having that faith in us. We had the faith in us. Our families had the faith in us, but man, it was just luck. I'm gonna go with luck because other than making boneheaded decisions, looking for that tile, I think we did all right.
No, you did great. Number 1 in my rankings, number 1 in my heart. That's for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Our next clue here, let's open this up. It's our roadblock. So for this roadblock, it's who would like to start? No, it's a roadblock. This is which one of you is going to do it?
Well, this was the final roadblock, right, that we're talking about?
No, this is a roadblock on the podcast.
Oh, shoot. Who wants to do it?
It's probably Victor.
So far I'm like what 1 for 2. So maybe Jocelyn should do this roadblock.
Oh no.
All right, so Jocelyn, you're up then. All right,
Okay.
so the starting line. Take me to the starting line. Okay, you're at the Hollywood Sun. There's Phil, the rock star himself, the legend.
Yes.
12 other teams, color-coded shirts. The comparisons you're making, the judgments are flying. You got the bag one bag on Victor's back. Camera crews, California, all the prep, everything that went into it. And now you're at this moment, and describe what is happening in that moment.
I think it's absolutely surreal. It's just amazing to be standing there looking at Phil and say, is this really happening? I cannot believe it. Looking around, looking at the team, being there with Victor, and just having him to make his announcement. We're going, and it is so exciting to be standing there in that moment, and it's amazing. I love it, and obviously we had to do a few takes here and there, but every single
They made us run up that hill.
Star, just that whole experience is not what you see on TV. You're like, Phil said go, and then off we go. But it's actually several times, and we had to run up that hill several times to go back down, and then just doing all of that. It was really fun, but it really kind of gear you and prepare you for the race. Like, this is real. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna do this. We're gonna conquer the world, and we're ready. And so I think that's what's going in my head. It's like, we're ready for this. I'm ready. We're ready to run down the hill. We're ready to get on an airplane, like to navigate through LA and get on our flight. So I think that moment is just so inspiring. Like, oh wow. I mean, you have like drones over our head that's circling us. And then I've probably counted 20 camera crews, if not more. And then so it's amazing just standing there, because you don't see that when you're watching it on TV. And so, but to stand there and just look look over downtown LA, and then with the sun on our back. And so, oh my gosh, is sort of incredible. Like, if I sort of reflect on that moment, that's still the image that I have in my head. It's just the drone, everything.
We've actually paused the show on the and we're like, oh, okay, this is, because we put ourselves in your position, everyone's position, like, this is the most anxiety-ridden moment ever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but it's nice. It sounds like what you're saying is like they almost let you kind of run the first few steps a few times.
Yeah.
Yes, you're filming it. I guess it's kind of like to work that out, or is it just to get you so nobody trips on the Santa Monica Pier? like happened in season, I think it was like 5 or something. And they were just like, the guy busted his knee open in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were running, so we're trying to think like, oh God, I hope I don't trip, because we're running down the hill. It was a little bit rocky, and then so.
Well, because even before we got we went to LA, you know, I think the casting people were telling us, hey, don't take up any like crazy things, don't go do anything weird, like, you know, suddenly take CrossFit and then pull your back and then you can't be on the show, right? And so actually for us, this was our second time applying. We had applied for another season before this. We got pretty close, but we didn't get on. So we felt like, you know, we went from you know, kind of low to high to super low, and then we were thinking, oh, should we even apply again? Because, you know, that was just so demoralizing to get so close, but then not to make the show. And you know, everything happens for a reason, right? And so we actually got on this season, and we were just ecstatic. It was so awesome. And that's when it actually hit for me. It's like, this is it, you know, I'm actually here standing in front of Phil, and we are actually going to be on The Amazing Race.
I don't know how people don't like vomit in the like on the starting line.
We didn't eat anything.
Adrenaline and overwhelming, or somebody doesn't pass out. Seriously, like is there there's got to be medical staff waiting by, like that, because it's got to be.
There are actually medical staff waiting.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it had to be. It's enough for us as the viewers, and the fans and people who want to be on the show. But I always love to ask that question, because it's just, it is this out of body experience, and I love hearing everyone's story of it. It's just so cool. All right, well, we're up to our next clue. I think you kind of know what this one's going to be. It's our detour. So we have started off right and feeling ain't right.
Ooh, which one do we pick?
I think started off right.
Okay. All right. We're going
with the softball question first, right?
All right. Yeah. So that's what you chose. That's started off right. We won't go to the feeling ain't right questions. So let's start there. Jocelyn, have you recovered from the spa day? Because it looked like you were taking an absolute beating.
Oh, I know. I really, really was. It was so rough on that. I think it's seriously, if I have to compare, I think I would probably jump in the lotus pond a few more times than take the massage. We seriously thought it was going to be like a 15-minute massage. I didn't realize it was a full half hour.
And was it enjoyable, or was it just pain inducing? Because the looks on people's faces, especially Jocelyn, like it was like, oh my God, you're gonna break it in half.
Yeah,
it was pain inducing, but you know, but it's that thing that you get that rush afterwards, the endorphins after all that pain. But I guess she was still in pain.
I had like, there was zero enjoyment at all. I think no, absolutely not. I would like I said, I would eat durian, a pallet durian. I would do a lot of other challenges than to do that again.
You would eat the durian. I taught abroad in Vietnam for a short time. And when you guys were there, it was like I could smell. It was like smell-o-vision was bringing me back. And I know the smell, and the durian is so potent. There's no escaping it. So for you to say you'd rather eat that than go back to the massage, that speaks volumes. But the first leg from LA to Bangkok, the second one in Bangkok, you win. Tom, the ReRACEables rankings running high. This is amazing. So happy. You guys win some prizes. Take me through it. How does it feel to actually win that first leg? Go from that craziness at the start line, you win. Take me through that.
Yeah, we weren't expecting to even be in first place, because our cab driver from the airport to that first temple was horrible. He was going 30 kilometers per hour on the freeway, right? So she was there like yelling at me the whole time and tell me to go faster. I kept telling him, and the guy finally turned around, was like, dude, just chill out. And it's like, those are the words I can never say to Jocelyn because I would be dead within like 5 seconds if I ever said that.
Punch him, give him a black eye.
Chill out. That's awful.
Never tell her to chill out. I learned my lesson the first time.
Yeah, but that taxi driver was crazy. He kept telling us, tell, like going really slow. And I can see all the teams.
Every team was passing us. And we were just like, oh my God.
hurry. And then he just going, oh, chill. We're in Thailand. We're supposed to chill. And so, yeah, it was really nerve-wracking. So I mean, seriously, we were at that bug and Victor and I were shoving it in our mouth and we were trying to beat Lena Morgan to finish it. Because you saw her gagging and like, I can't do it. I'm like, we totally crushed this. And then, so they beat us with the taxi driver and it was really a disappointment.
But so when you actually get so you get the first place, you win. Mm-hmm. Like do you guys stop and like, do people give you eyeballs? Like, how does that change kind of, oh, they won.
Yeah.
And then you won again. Like, take me into like kind of the locker room of it, right? The afterwards, like, did that change the dynamic of the race for you guys?
I think so because even though we won that first leg, it felt like not everybody had known yet that first leg. But so I know we were talking to some of the other teams and actually when you check into the pit stop, you're not allowed to talk to anybody, right? But then we're like, doing hand gestures or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that next morning we were talking to some of the other teams. Well, I think I was waiting for Jocelyn at that Lotus Challenge. So I was talking to them and they were talking about strategy. Well, the Lena Morgan got the express pass. They got to be the ones that we U-turn, right? But I'm thinking they were probably talking about us because.
Oh yeah, Team Philly definitely said if we had to do the U-turn, they would have U-turned us. Yeah. If we were, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I'm pretty sure they were all like behind our back saying, "Oh, we're gonna U-turn." Yeah,
because I think Todd was like the best communicator with no talking. He found out that we had won those first 2 legs, right? And then like he even found out like where we were going. It's like, how do you find that out without talking? It was just crazy. And so we already knew we had targets on our backs, but then during the interviews they kept asking us, well, how does it feel? And we didn't want to sound cocky, but then at the same time we have to kind of repeat what they ask us as part of our answer, right? And so the way it came across is like, we won the first 2 legs and we got this, with age comes wisdom or something. And the whole time we were thinking we're going to go from first to last or last to first.
I wasn't thinking that.
I don't know. I was kind of prepared because
I was not thinking that at all.
I was not thinking that. No. I was thinking, oh God, yes, we have a chance. Here we
go. We did have a chance. But then I knew that like with Vietnam and we were all gonna, it was the time that we were supposed to get in was pretty late. And I've never seen Amazing Race make people do any challenges in the middle of the night. So I didn't think that they were going to make us do anything. So we're all going to be bunched up. That's what I was thinking. And every lead that we had easily a 30 or 45-minute lead over Robin Quarry after the second leg.
Right.
And then over the last team, it was like 3 hours or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah. I have that written down. Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah, I was up in arms, man. I was like, come on, this is outrageous.
Right.
No equalizers.
But there were too many seasons.
Let them run. Let them run out in front. Let the horses run. We need a track. Let them go.
I think there were too many seasons where you had teams that just kind of ran the whole, there were at least 2 where they won like 8 legs or something like that. And I just thought there's no way they're going to let us win another, here on out. There's no way. So of course, we get bunched up in Thailand and we get the worst airline in the world, the one that's always late and nobody even blinks an eye and they don't even post that the flight's late. You just know it's late because you leave an hour and a half after the time you were supposed to.
Yeah. So like, as the viewer, like it was, and a fan, like it was great to see the airport come back, right? Versus the last few seasons with COVID and how it was very different and that was taken out of it. But the one thing we kept saying to each other, like at the commercials, was like, is this ridiculous? Like, when was the last time you had a travel agent or like having to book travel or have that airport experience? Like, what was that like? Kind of, was it like going back in time, or what was the experience of that?
Well, I can't remember the last time we even used a travel agent, but the guy didn't even have a laptop to do stuff. He was seriously texting his friend at the travel agency and on the phone the whole time. And then Jocelyn's like badgering him. You got us the flight, right? You got us the flight. That first one you listed. And the guy's like, yeah. Just give us some time. We're trying to
what they're
arrange it.
Show is like we got there probably an hour before
it even opened.
And then we were trying to figure out, okay, where we're going to go next, what they're going to do. So we were trying to do some of the research. And then once we got there, for him to print the actual itinerary, I think it took a good 30 minutes. And then so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what is happening? What is it actually coming out from this printer? Is there a secret printer?
Like those...
Oh yeah, it's seriously, that's what it was. So
it was really crazy for us to, and then at first I thought, okay, we're first, right? We have to get the first flight, but then it turned out that's not the case. So but yeah, it was interesting to see an actual travel agent. But then that's sort of,
I think in Asia though, that's probably fairly common.
More
common than here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that does it for the detour. But oh wait, what's this? You turn. Wait a minute. You can't say you were never U-turned.
We got U-turned by Tom. Thank you.
Wow. What? That was, sorry guys, I had to U-turn you there.
No, thank you. Makes us feel better. Thank you.
Yes, it's so let's go to feeling ain't right. The other part. So you're in the Bangkok to Vietnam, you're in 10th place. Phil's there. He drops one of these on you. Yeah, you're still racing.
Yeah.
Is it at that moment, what do you know about that, like in that moment, about where you stood? And then what's the feeling at keep racing? Is it exhaustion? Is it desperation? Is it euphoria? Like, take me through that. What is that?
I think we're pretty certain that we were probably next to.
Yeah, because when we got in our cab, we saw Liam and Jeremy. Mm-hmm. They were like trying to bang on our cab door as we were pulling off. I was like, oh crap! So we got to beat at least them. And so we thought
we were really. I mean, personally, I was really hoping. I don't know what Victor was feeling, but I was really hoping that it was we can just stop, like a pit stop. So then at least coming in, not last team, but next to last is better than keep on racing.
And then you get some rest and you can recharge for the next day. Yeah.
Because that's what I was really, really hoping for, like in my mind, because I knew we had another team behind us. We're not last. And then so so in my mind, I was really, really hoping for us to just stop and then not keep on racing.
I think for me, it was so hard to take, right? Because we had come in first, and now here we are barely surviving, and so we actually had like a short break before we had to run off again, and so this is we got a little bit of drinks or something, and I was just about to cry actually, because I was thinking, man, but at the same time, like there's that hope, right, that we can claw our way back up to the top. But but when I found out that we were an hour behind the first team, it was kind of hard to figure out, well, how are we going to make that up? And so everything we did from then on was just keep our heads down and just plow through it. We got to do it. And I don't know, I think we got lost a little bit on the way to that
that's
to the detour.
Coming into the race, I really believe that Victor will navigate us through anything, right? Because when we are traveling overseas, we're traveling around the country. Victor is always the navigator, and for whatever reason, that day he was it just started off on the wrong foot. Like everything, he kept leading us to the wrong direction, making the wrong turn, like keep telling us to keep going when I should stop and pause for a moment. And then so I think with that, it was a little bit hard.
It's hard because it's one of those things where this is the part of the race that's really hard to train for, right? You can do all the physical exercise, the escape rooms, or whatever you want to do to get over all that. But it's when you have the adrenaline and then you have like those lead changes, it's not something that you can easily prepare for. And I was just trying to think today, like how could I prepare for that? It's like you'd almost have to be like dropped off in like the seediest part of town at midnight by yourself, and then told, have like a wad of hundreds around your neck. It's like, okay, make it home safely or something. I mean, that's like the only way you can really think of like trying to get that adrenaline and make good decisions. It's kind of hard.
Right, or like knock some shelves over in your store and then like put a timer on. And you have to like, if you don't put these all back in order in 10 minutes, you can't open the store the next, whatever.
Pretty much.
Can I ask you about like the level of rest, tiredness? I know that was like a piece of that. Overall, through your whole journey up till that point, and even to the end of it, like, do you have enough rest, eating, energy, those kinds of things? Or did you feel like that was kind of deteriorating on you?
I thought we did. We had a decent amount of rest, because I think between Thailand and Vietnam, there was an extended pit stop, and then we.
I don't believe that's the case. I think it's a fly in, and then,
but then it was the flight in that we got there kind of late, and then we had to take this bus where you get almost no sleep on, right?
So I think in terms of total actual sleep, we probably got less than 2 hours, because I think once we got to the pier, we had to walk to the hotel, and then we were kind of settling in and everything, and then so by the time we sort of unpack and get ready, we probably slept for an hour before it's time for us to wake up and go out again.
Yeah.
I feel like that's such like an underplayed like aspect of the race.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, if you're listening there, producers and showrunners and things of that nature, do you think, now that you've watched it back and you've experienced it, like, do you think that like the visual cues and kind of the like information that they tell the viewer is enough? Like, I would have loved to have known like a little clock emoji and 1.5 hours of sleep for Jocelyn and Victor.
Yeah.
So
no,
like,
I would agree with you, because I feel that as a viewer, it's always easy to say, well, that's dumb, why didn't you see that? Or that's silly. Because even my dad started watching the show because he found out that we're going to be on the show, and he was critiquing, it's like, that racetrack where how can the guy be so dumb and not see the number that's obviously right in front of your face, right? And then I said, Dad, you don't understand. You're watching a TV show. They have to show you where it is. They're not going to let you circle 10 times and then for you to find out where it is. And then, so it's things like that where being a viewer, you don't really understand it until you're physically there, and then you're trying to do the challenge, and that's where it's definitely different.
Yeah, because from your couch, everything is so easy, right? And that's
of course.
Yeah, and that was the thing, because our kids got tired of hearing us say, "Oh man, that's easy." So we're gonna sign you up for it, and you can
exactly from the couch. That where every time there's a challenge where they have to search for something, Victor always is like, "How can he be so dumb? Or why is she doing that?"
I was watching.
She should be very meticulous. Go from 1 to 2 to 3.
I was
up and down.
It was season 33. You're watching like Kim and was it Dusty or. All these people just on their hands and knees, and, and
the stone one,
turning over the stones, right? I was thinking,
God.
Why didn't you divide it and be methodical about it? Oh, if I did it, I
throw them out of the circle. Can you do that? Right.
But I think there are other things that as part of the clue, because what the viewer sees as the clue is just kind of the first sentence, or the kind of the title of it, because when you rip open that clue, there's actually another piece of paper that gives you more details of what you can and can't do, or whatever. So that's what people really mean by read the clue, because that's the part that gives you more information about what you're supposed to do or not. Because I think, say, when we were at the Biltmore in LA to to run up and do the high wire, the actual clue said empty your pockets. Well, I had my ticket of, I think we got there 8th or whatever, so I had the number 8 in my pocket, so it said empty your pockets and give everything to your partner. So I did that. What they didn't show was I ran up and I had to run back down to get that ticket from Jocelyn and then run back up again. And I think, a lot of the teams did that because we, but they didn't show that. I guess it didn't really matter, but it's just, those are the types of things that as a fan you watch, but unless they actually put it into the show, you would never know.
Yeah, because when he first came down, like, oh my gosh, you're down, let's go. And he was like, oh, what number are we talking about? What are you looking for?
I feel like it reminds me of like what the NFL, I'm a big sports fan, right? So like the NFL and like Prime Video have partnered up, and Thursday Night Football, and you can watch the regular broadcast or this broadcast, or where they draw the little lines on it and they have these little graphics, they have betting lines, or they have, all of this. And like, I don't know, Amazing Race, maybe get us a little graphic on the side that has like the clue and what's written on paper, the super fan experience. Give us or in a horse race, how there's kind of the different like squares where they are on the track. Like,
that would be awesome.
Where are they? Are they really intense?
Because you don't know, especially like when she was at the Lotus Challenge, right? You don't know, like, when people were showing up, because just they show our departure times at the start of the leg, but then they don't show currently in 4th place or currently in 5th place. It's usually, not until you get to the very end, but then you don't see actually, how much of a time difference there was between the teams. In this final leg in Vietnam, I think that the time difference between all the teams was a lot less than an hour. It wasn't, I think people who struggled really struggled, and people who got it just got it up right off the bat,
Yeah.
And maybe we're asking a lot here. Maybe, the ReRACeables and myself are asking a lot with this separate broadcast. But it really would. I think it would. I think after 35 seasons, maybe you're ready to kind of like level up to that sense and really like take us. I'm not saying you guys need to wear GoPros and we just need to be like in that. Maybe that's another view. Maybe that's the third broadcast. But that might be a little nauseating.
Well, I think in prior seasons they did have some of those, behind the scenes stuff that they would show online, and they haven't done that the last few years. So I as a fan myself, I would love to see that, just to get more information about what happened, right?
Yeah. Did you hear that, Phil? Did you hear that, CBS? Jocelyn and Victor are in on it. The ReRACeables is in on it. Let's go. Let's make this. So, all right, finishing up, feeling ain't right. End of the Vietnam leg. We had to get there. Yeah. It kills me big time. And I'm not just saying that. It did.
Thank you.
I loved watching the two of you. You were great.
Thank you.
Two things. First part, if you play out that roadblock, let's say 100 times, same scenario, same whatever, but just you rip open, you got the roadblock, and like you go from that point. If you play it 100 times, how many times do you think you end up last?
Because I know exactly in the grand scheme of things where that tile was. And I'm trying to beat myself to try to figure out, did I miss it the first time, or did I just accidentally miss it? Because I was trying to be super methodical, right? And going up and down. But then the way this path was, they have this long path going this way. Then they have these offshoots going a couple different ways. And I'm wondering, and it was on one of those offshoots when I finally found it. So I'm wondering if I had just missed it by accident or what. But and then again, kind of what we were talking about on TV, they made it seem like, oh, it's just the number of hairs or horns on the head of this character.
That ain't true, is it, Victor?
No.
I didn't think so.
if it was true, I would have gotten it on that third tile that I found, because the judge was like, how the heck did he find it on his third tile, right? So
that guy was the most like emotional, like body language guy ever. But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. No, so the thing was when we do these kind of like games, like we do a lot of puzzles at home, right? So I'm the guy that like, it's a 2,000 piece puzzle and I'm putting it together and everybody's like, we spent 8 hours on this and you come in 15 minutes and you put together like a third of it. How's that possible? Right. So that's to me.
Guy. You're that.
Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm sorry.
That guy. We had to do this really color,
it's a gradient
puzzle that's all orange. And then
torture. Oh my God.
The entire family was having such a hard time. I think there were 5 of us. We're trying to put in this quarter. And here comes Victor. Boom, within 2 hours, done. And then we thought, okay, well then there you go. so
I think one of the things,
if I were to replay that thing over and over again,
like 1,000 times, whatever it is. Go ahead.
Think the moment I sent him off, I thought, oh crap, it could be the best moment ever where he found it within seconds, or it could be he's definitely overthinking it. And like I knew if he doesn't find it within the first 5 minutes, it's over, like in my mind, because I feel like he's overthinking it and I should have taken this challenge, because just knowing him, and I have full confidence. I think if he were to look at the puzzle and knew what he was looking for, he would have just nailed it just like that. And then so once he started doing it, it took more than 5 minutes. I just thought, I should have done this challenge, because maybe it takes more of a motherly detail type of thing than I was
overthinking it for sure. I was being too literal with the picture, because I think like there was probably like a quarter of the picture had this big white glare on it, right?
And he was staring, looking for
and I was thinking, is this glare? Is this like paint? What is it? I can't figure it out. But then there wasn't anything on that tile that really stood out to me that had identifying marks that, this is what I'm going to key on. This is what I'm going to look for. It was just like, okay, I can look for the 3 hairs or whatever. That's easy, but there are also hundreds of those tiles. So which one is my tile? And so it was like 2 tiny little dots in the upper left-hand corner.
Seriously 2 tiny little dots, like 10 dots.
That when I finally found it and I matched, it's like, yeah, this is it. I'm such an idiot, but I don't know. Maybe I was being too literal with the picture, like I'm trying to match it exactly, or what. But
because if you actually look at it, you'll see shadows on the right hand corner, and I think it was the time when they took the photos and it accidentally cast that shadow, and I think was looking for that.
I will say, what is it, Joel, he was there. I mean, he was probably there for an hour and a half doing that, and he was third to last to get it right. So I don't know. I think I overthought it, and because I also kind of thought, well, there's no way in heck that they're gonna bunch all the matching tiles like kind of one general area of this place. If it was me, I would spread it all over, right? Make people run around. But I also didn't realize that they're all middle-aged producers who probably don't want to be out in the hot Vietnam sun either. So they're going to make it easy on themselves.
I'm pretty sure not all producers are middle-aged.
Well, I'm just saying.
So they're really like, hey, we're a 20-year-old. We're out there doing all the grunt work.
So if you did it 100 times, you think you would have overthought it 100 times?
Maybe a good 50. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for Victor, he probably would have. I think looking at what happened, he probably did. He was looking for the shadows, and he didn't get a chance to really reflect on the clue.
It was the first day that we were so far behind, right? That
he was trying really hard.
And I was just thinking, I don't want to lose this. I don't want to get sent home today. And that was half of me. And then, and then she was kind of yelling things on the side. I'm just thinking, please don't yell the wrong thing, because then I don't want to get a penalty, right? Yeah.
Right.
I know, but at that point, it's like, why does it matter? Maybe you should listen to me and not look behind the trash can. Why would anybody go behind the trash can? And why would you look behind the trash can for tiles? Victor was like going through bushes. I'm like, where are you going?
See, that's another thing I would have loved, like the layout, like an aerial shot of the
Like these little people
complex.
moving around.
Yeah.
and then like each of the light up each of the 11 or where
Yeah.
see where they were. Because I started thinking about it as I'm seeing my man Victor struggling. I'm like, all right, did somebody's get put like right near the start versus somebody else's was tucked over there or way back over there?
Yeah.
I don't know how you can possibly make that fair. I guess it just is like a random, like just pick a spot and go.
Yeah, because
I
it
think
depends. Like when you start, like do you go left or you go right, or you go forward or you go backwards, and so it's all kind of random, right? It's like what choice did you make, and that probably would have made the biggest difference out of anything. Yeah.
I think the photos has different pictures and maybe like different paint chips or different dots and stuff like that. And if you look at it, there are definitely people who found it faster is because they have a bigger chunk of missing parts from the tile. That's really
because my tile, because you can hear me say it on TV. It's like, there are paint splotches on the tile that aren't in the picture, right? And so I think that's so if I had missed it the first time around, that's probably why, because I was looking for something cleaner than what I actually found. So.
Well, my protest letter is in the mail. So
Thank you.
You can count on that. Okay, and then following that up, considering everything, and you're a very interesting case study because the two of you had the highest of the high you can achieve, the lowest of the low-ish, and then the lowest of the low. Right. And you kind of had enough of a sample size that I think you could probably answer this question, because when we do the rankings, my kind of way of looking at it is if you ran the race 1,000 times, I think this is where like these people would have like kind of the lowest overall score, right? Like meaning where you finish, meaning if you finish first every time, you'd have the lowest score, like golf, whatever. I put you guys first for that reason, among others. But if you ran the race 1,000 times, all the things that the experiences of the high, the lowish, the low, elimination, all that, experiencing all, how many times do you think you'd win? How many
come in and win the $1 million?
Yeah, like if you had 1,000 chances, do you think you'd never win? You'd always run into something like this. You should have won all the time.
95%.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we always thought that we'd make the final three at least make the final three, right? And whatever happens that last leg,
for sure,
it's hard to control.
I just feel like maybe with our background, I think we completely cover all the Asian countries, and we have no.
Well, it's not just that, because
and then also Victor speaks Spanish a little bit, so enough for us to get by, whether it be a little bit of Portuguese, a little bit Spanish, and so that again covers like a third. And then you have the English speakers, so we're done. And then so I feel like going in, I was very like if I were to do this 1,000 times, I would say we were probably ranked 95% of winning that.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you.
That's how much faith I have in him. And then, but that day, oh my gosh, it was a really rough day from the morning. Like for whatever reason, he was thinking, "Oh, Jocelyn, you're tired. I will pack our bags." And then, of course, he left something at the hotel, and he had to make a mad dash to go and get it. And then, for whatever reason, he decided to wear shorts that day, and we have to go to a temple, and you can't have shorts. And then, so that's why you see a blurb where he was digging through his bag, and then he was trying to find a pair of pants. He was trying to wear it, but then when we walk up closer, there's fabric there, you can cover yourself. And of course, we didn't see that until we got a little bit closer. But then on the way to the temple, he was already trying to rummage through his bag and trying to find it. So it's just all these little things just kind of held us back in time. And then ultimately, it was a little...
I don't think it was any one thing that I could say that's exactly what did it for us, but it's just a lot of mistakes. And I feel like all the teams were really good, and you just can't mess up with the squad. There's just no way.
Yeah, they were just super athletic, very strong, and
because we thought we would be like the sleeper team, right? We never thought that we would be.
I thought so too.
First. Yeah, we never thought we'd come in first, the first two legs, and then have everybody put a target on our backs, right? And so
was that a curse? Was that almost like in football, like teams are 6-0, 7-0, 8-0,
It's
9.
almost like a jinx.
Oh my God. It's like you'd rather lose a game
Yeah.
so that you get that undefeatedness out of your head.
Yep.
Yeah.
This way you're just kind of normal. But you guys have this, you won. Oh my gosh, a prize? Well, look at us. No, we're just team retail love. Like, no, don't look at us. You win again. You win again. Now people are like, they got their lasers pointed at you.
Yeah.
Equalizer. It's like, is that a word? Was that like somehow a curse?
Yeah, I feel like it was a curse. It's because
the equalizer, because
they always, every time we were interviewed, they always talked about that, and we were trying to be humble about it. So we're not getting cocky as a result of winning those 2 legs, because anything can happen, right? But I almost feel like if we had done poorly that first leg, it would have helped us. It would have just given us that extra motivation, right? And then
I was motivated the whole time. I think it was just seriously all around. We started off on the wrong foot that morning, and then it just kind of trickled down. So despite what Victor says, I think I mean, I still like all the teammates that we were racing against. Everybody was super nice, and
they were nice to your face. I think John and Greg were scheming. They've got these big smiles on their face.
Scheming
the most polite boys ever, right? Yeah, and so they were talking. We're talking about our, what we do, all our backgrounds and everything. Super nice guys, and they were so cute. But then I'm sure that they were trying to scheme something behind the scenes against us too.
For sure, because at the airport they were telling, "Hey, let's listen,
let's U-turn Morgan and Lena because they have the express pass."
But before we were even thinking about it, because we were just trying to exchange our currency, and I wasn't even thinking about anything, and then because nobody else was around us, and the 2 of them approach and say, "Hey, listen, we need to get them to use their express pass, and then so make sure we U-turn them," and then so we said, oh, "Okay, sure." So yeah.
So you're out, you leave the race officially. I think about that, or Survivor, a big Survivor fan as well. And the idea that like when you actually, because you go somewhere and then all the other teams are there, is that right? Okay. So then you go to the finale, the end of it happens, awesome. And then you get on a plane, right? Or if you're near home, I guess you just drive, but you officially like, all right, bye everybody. Like you just leave this once in a lifetime, revolutionary, 20 years in the making, new relationship, new you. And then you just go back to regular life.
You can't.
That's crazy, right? Like that's crazy town. Tell me about what that's like. You just leave the experience.
It was weird because we had no sleep. Like we finished filming and then we were just rushed onto the plane. And then coming back, I was sitting with with Liam. I had never even talked to him because we never interacted, right? But talking to him afterwards, and then so I think the whole cast as a whole, we started to bond, just chatting. We pretty much have like a chat going every day, and so that was like the best thing. And people always talk about like the Amazing Race family and what a family it is. It really is, and having all these different racers from previous seasons reaching out to us, and then just fans, but we didn't even know we were going to be on, this fall. So we thought, okay, it'd be next year.
That's crazy too.
That was really crazy.
What was that like? What was that like? I know you can't probably tell much, but like, what is that like? All of a sudden, now you thought you were going to wait. What, a year?
Oh, I was super excited.
It was exciting, but they didn't really tell us. It was kind of like, you guys might have heard something, but you can't say anything until we announce it. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then like the next day or 2 days later, we see it on TV. It's like, that preview is our season. It's not a different season. Oh my God.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that blew us away too. I can't imagine what that would have been like, because you were anticipating being, I guess, what, season 36?
Yeah.
That's well, little detours and little U-turns they have up their sleeves as well. They're not just filmed on the race, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so maybe because of the rush, trying to get the season out the door, they couldn't do all that post, stuff where they give you all the extra time. I don't know.
No, that's true. Yeah, maybe that's the case.
Maybe.
Well,
But
hopefully
they did have 4 months, they could have put something in.
Yeah, like, come on, CBS, come on. What are you? Come on, we have time. We want to see more here. All right, so you've reached the pit stop. So congratulations. You are my team number one. You know that.
Thank you.
I guess let's close on this. Is there a certain image that stays with you? Because again, as the viewer, we watch, it's a window into the world, right? And I'm even blessed. Like I mentioned earlier, I have been to Vietnam. I taught English there for a internship, and like seeing the sights of that was like brought me right back to that experience that I had. And so I'm wondering, like, is there an image kind of in your head when you watch it back or when you think back that kind of stands out most of all, that like kind of warms your hearts the most at this point?
For me, after I finished crying for like 2 hours after that, I think just seeing Phil, he was doing some of the overhead shots or getting some additional footage, and he's a pro, but he works hard. He works so hard at what he does, and he had to do so many takes, and it's hot. We were in the shade, and here he was
fanning
like one of the camera guys was like about to pass out. He's like giving him ice and fanning him, and then after we're all done, the guy goes and actually sweeps the mat and rolls it up, and it's like, Phil, you are like the star of this show, and you're the one that has to clean up. And
it's
it's
cleaning up. Yes.
Oh my God! It just gave us so much more respect for Phil. We loved him to begin with, but it just goes to show that he, even though he's the big star and an executive producer, he rolls up the mat and puts it in the box to go to the next place. Come on.
I agree.
Amazing, Phil. Wow, shout out. Jocelyn, what's your image? Like, take me through your.
Yeah, I think that would be also one of my images, is because it's just unexpected, I guess. You don't know what a host really does until you're actually physically there. And then he really, I think, based on just a brief conversation with him, I mean, he really tried to know the cast. He interviews the cast to get to know them a little bit, and then to see him doing all these little I mean, sometimes when he says the line, he has to repeat it like 3 or 4 times, and the drone will come in and say, no, we don't like that angle, do it again. And he'll go and practice, and he'll say it again. And so it's just a really unique experience that as an audience, you don't really see that, but to sort of experience it in person and to watch him being just Phil, such a kind.
I also have
person.
one more memory that sticks in my head. And this was in Thailand, where we're waiting to start the next leg to go to Vietnam. And she had just finished the Lotus Challenge, and I'm just here doing her laundry and just trying to get all that nasty mud and crap and whatever was in her clothes out. I easily did like 10 washes, and I still couldn't get it out, right? But we were there, and here I am like doing her laundry, and she's like all cut up. She has like all this antibiotic on her leg, but we were bonding, and it was so cool. And then The Amazing Race season 34 comes on the TV, and so here we are on The Amazing Race, watching The Amazing Race on TV, and it's like, oh my God, this can't be real. This can't be real at all.
Well, I hope you have whatever products you use to clean her up in the store. I hope you have season 34 on a loop on a TV, that moment, or your season up in your store. Thank you so much for taking the time and hanging out on the ReRACEables podcast. Appreciate it so much, and I hope you had a good time.
Oh, Thanks, Tom. I mean, it's so awesome talking to actual fans of the show. We really appreciate it. And
for you to go through that trouble, can you mail me that U-turn board? I love it.
Yeah,
oh,
I will do that. Yeah, you just send me the address and you got it.
And I'm looking at all the rankings, and I'm just laughing. I'm dying inside looking at everybody's rankings. So
Yeah, especially mine. It was so pathetic.
No, thank you, guys.
Alexandra and Sheridan, they killed me too.
I let you down. I'm so sorry, Tom.
No, it's all right, my man. I would go down with the ship, as they say, and you're in the ship. So, all right. Well, please stay in touch. Appreciate you both being on again, and I hope we can talk again soon.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Take care.